Okay, one more video. We're looking now at page 20 on your handouts. We have a map. It's got a title. It says Voyages of Exploration C 1000 to 1609. It has a compass rose down at the bottom. There's a scale of miles near the bottom on the left. And then there's a map key on the right-hand side near the top. The map key shows different colors or arrows. Some of them are dotted lines in an arrow. Some of them are solid lines in an arrow. And each of those represents a different something. Now, Vikings, Cartier, Verrazano, Columbus, Vespucci, Magellan, Drake, these all look like names of something, right? Now, I also want to point out in the title that small letter C. That small letter C stands for circa, C-I-R-C-A, circa. When you see circa like that, C-I, small letter C period, or circa, C-I-R-C-A, it means around, because C-I-R-C is a Latin or Greek root that means circle. Circle. Like in geometry, you find the circumference of a circle, right? So circa means around. In this case, approximately. Not exactly, not an exact date, but an approximate date. Voyages of Exploration circa 1000, so around 1000, about 1000, that's not an exact date, to 1609, which is an exact date, okay? Now, we see all these different kinds of lines that are arrows, actually, going all over this map. And if we follow those lines, notice they go in the direction of the arrows. So most of these arrows begin in Europe somewhere. They begin there. Find the end of the line that doesn't have an arrow on it. That's the beginning of it. And then we can follow those arrows to see the direction that these, whoever they were, went in. Now, this is Voyages of Exploration, so this must be people exploring, and indeed that's what these are. They're the explorers that explored the world by ship in between these years, 1000 and 1609. All right, now the arrows get a little weird and hard to follow, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about them. I want you to examine the map. I want to give you the answers that you can use as you examine the map. Now, listen, there's a paragraph there to read, but remember, when we come to a paragraph on the social studies test particularly, we are not going to take time to read it until we find out from the questions that we have to, because we're battling time on this test. So we don't want to use up any more of our time than we need to. By the way, that strategy is only a good strategy on the social studies test. All right? Only on the social studies test. On the reading test, you're always going to have to read the passages. On the math test, there won't be passages like that generally. They'll just be word questions. On the science test, there'll be passages, but they will almost always be explaining what you're looking at in a graphic. So you will have to generally read the passage. But on the social studies test, do not read the passage first. Go straight to the questions. Read the passage only if you find you have to answer the question. Okay? I only say this because so often the questions don't refer to the passage. So why are we taking the time to read the passage? All right? Okay, so look at the questions. Question number 9. It's asking which 2 European countries did most of the explorers begin their journeys. You can look at the map and see that most of those journeys begin in Spain and in Portugal. The beginning of the lines, most of them, are in Spain or Portugal. Okay, number 10, which was the first expedition to reach North America? Okay, we get tempted to look at all those other explorers coming from Europe, but really the first exploration that reaches North America is the Vikings. Okay, so don't overlook them. They're sort of at the top of the map, and we tend to look at the center of the map there. 11 on the map, locate and underline the name of the explorer who first circumnavigated the world. All right, well, there's a word that we need to know if we're going to answer the question. And actually, if we read the passage, we don't find an answer that helps us. So we might feel like at that point we should read the passage, but this is another reason why being a good reader is important before you take these tests. If we're good readers, we can scan through the passage quickly, see the word circumnavigated doesn't come up, and know that it's not going to help us to look carefully at the passage. So circum is Latin root that means around, like circa, right? Circum. And to navigate means to find your way. Nav means way, Latin root, I believe, that means way finding or finding the way, right? To navigate means to find your way. So to circumnavigate the world means to navigate around the whole world. So who were the first explorers that first went all the way around the world? We find that there are two of them on this map. One is Drake and one is Magellan. The one who did it first, if we look at the dates next to their names on the map, was Magellan. Okay? And number 12, draw a box around the name of the explorer who explored the Caribbean islands. So there are actually two guys on here, Vespucci and Columbus. The answer book here, the answer key for the book here says that they think the answer is Vespucci, but I think also Columbus isn't a bad answer too. Now, you won't get a question on the GED or the HiSET that is this fuzzy. Okay, this is not a carefully written question. The questions on the GED or the HiSET have been field tested, so they're going to be very clear, not answers where you could correctly come up with two correct answers. Okay, let's look at page number 21. Here we have another map, trade routes of the Roman Empire. So the ways that, the directions that people went to trade goods with other areas during the time of the Roman Empire. We see that the Roman Empire is colored in a certain color there, and then the lines, notice these are lines. Most of these lines don't have arrows on them. The arrows come only at the very end of lines where they go off the map. But in the middle here, there are no arrows. So these trade routes go one way and they go the other way. They go both directions all over here. Okay? Because traders go one place and then they go back. And then they go another place, they go back. So these arrows just show the general direction that the trade route went when it goes off the edge of the map. Okay, now the Roman Empire, you can see from the map key, is colored in. The trade routes have lines or arrows. This is of the Roman Empire, as the key tells us, at its height, C, circa, see that? C, AD 200, to 200 AD. We would call that 200 CE today, is the modern way of saying AE. CE, the Common Era. All right, so I'm just going to give you the answers, and you can take a look through the map. Number 13, the answer is D, like David. Number 14, the answer is B, like boy. Okay, and number 15, the answer is D, like David. Number 16, the answer is C, like cat. And number 17, the answer is D, like David. Number 17, not a well-written question. Don't worry about it too much if you're not sure how to come up with that answer. You won't get a question that is that fuzzy or that weird on the GED or the HiSET. Okay? On number 16, you might be tempted to go with D, but remember that that modern-day Europe includes Scandinavia. Scandinavia are the islands up here, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway. That's part of modern-day Europe, and they weren't part of the Roman Empire, okay? Or most of it wasn't parts of the Roman Empire, if you look at the map. All right? Okay, that's it for today. See you next time. Thanks.